What is going on, YouTube people? Cards and Comics here. Today, another edition of the weekly sports card market update. You all know what sort of mood I am in waking up Sunday morning before I do. Well, I guess simultaneously, but I am recording this prior to any of the playoff games being played on Saturday. I thought about waiting until after the Browns game to record this, and I figured, you know what? Let's just get this knocked out prior to in case things go a little sideways. So you know what happened in that game, and unless you have Peacock, you won't know what happened in the late game. So just for some context there, I do not know what is going to happen. I am recording this right after the Bills game got postponed. New York stealing a snow game away from us, which will now be played on Monday instead of Sunday, was a little off the rails. I guess I'll give some formal predictions here off the top. Once again, I don't know. You know the results of two of these. I'm going to take my Browns over Dakota's Texans. I have to. I am nervous about that game heading into it because I'm a Browns fan, but on paper, I should be feeling confident about it. We'll see. Once again, we already know how this is either going to age really great or really poorly. The Dolphins Chiefs game, I am going to take the Chiefs. I think the Dolphins are just a mess. I do like the Chiefs for the long run in these playoffs, but I will go with the Chiefs in that particular game. I will take the Cowboys over the Packers. I will take the Rams over the Lions in what I hope is a fun and entertaining game. I initially, if the weather was going to be really, really bad, I was leaning towards potentially going crazy and picking the Steelers to beat the Bills. I do not trust this Bills team, but I don't like that this got moved back a day. So I guess I'll take the Bills, but I don't know that I feel great about that one. The Bills feel kind of messy. Josh Allen lovers are going to hate me in the comments down below. And then Eagles at Buccaneers. Give me my boy Baker Mayfield. I'll take the Bucs in that one. Kind of a homer pick. I still enjoy Baker quite a bit. Mostly news, catch up, and follow up on some stuff in today's edition. A couple charts and graphs. I did the big football breakdown video yesterday on Saturday, looking over the current state of modern football and the selling cycles and that sort of stuff. So you can, if you need your healthy dose of football charts and graphs, feel free to go back and check that one out. Once again, it's the same stuff we've been talking about for years, time over time. You got to move off the hype guys in the late summer, carry the guys in the season that don't have a lot of hype around them. Maybe you get lucky. This upcoming year, guess what the hype guys are going to be? Probably Stroud, maybe a little bit of Jordan Love, depending on what they do in the playoffs. Someone else probably is going to make a playoff run that we're not expecting. They'll get some hype coming out of it. And then something random will happen. And then all of a sudden, I don't know who this year's Sam Howell and Desmond Ridder are going to be. Those guys got so much summer hype. Their cards were selling for huge amounts of money in the summer and then quickly crashed back down because guess what? Those players weren't actually very good. Let us not forget today's video is powered and sponsored by our good friends over at COMC, your home for buying, selling, moving off cards, picking up new cards. I have an order of cards on its way. Should be here early next week of stuff I sent home. I have an order going out to them. I have to get that video recorded still. I have a stack of stuff going out to them. Actually sending some stuff dual service from a lot of the boxes that I have been opening up recently, and got a fun PC card coming. One in the box coming home is a really cool PC card that I've been chasing for the last basically since the set came out. It's for Marvel Anime. It's a Spider-Gwen card that I have been looking for, and COMC will be getting pretty busy with stuff. Marvel Masterpieces should be coming to EPAC probably sometime in February, and then Upper Deck and the Connor Bedard hunt that'll be coming to EPAC as well, and a lot of that stuff gets transferred over to COMC, so I'm sure people will be going wild for that stuff over there. First up on the docket, updated Panini release schedule. Biggest thing I kind of wanted to talk about here is the Prism basketball. I did the video late last week about blasters, so a lot of people are confused by this, at least judging by the comments. You're right. Prism basketball is not set to release until February 7th, but retail snuck out early. It looked like a lot of Walmarts put blasters out. I still have not seen any in Target specifically, at least photos online. If you have, please let me know in the comments down below. But it seems like Walmart at minimum blasters, retail blasters hit the shelves essentially a month early. We are still not getting Prism Hobby until the 7th of February, and we probably still won't see a bulk of the retail release until then as well. I almost wonder, you could, if you wanted to go tinfoil hat here, you probably could and say, was this intentional? Because by leaking out, air quotes leak, by letting out a little bit of supply a month before the release on accident, it has sent the secondary market into a full panic mode, with people trying to hunt these things down. And then the people that do have them are ripping them or trying to sell them for crazy prices, whether flipping it or selling breaks. And it's putting an artificial inflation on the singles. So, I talked like that Wemby sold for $1,000. There's been other sales in the $600 to $1,000 range. His base Prism Raw is going for around $100 pretty consistently right now from that small retail wave. And it's almost kind of like chumming the water, like you're fishing for jaws. And it's causing this artificial increase on those prices, I think, because there's constrained supply. Like, I don't know how many blasters got out into the wild, obviously enough, but there's not enough singles to go around to everybody. And we all know this product is going to be printed to the moon and back again, especially on the retail side of things. They can print blasters pretty much as they want because there's no numbered chase in them. And that has caused this, like I said, this artificial jump in prices on singles, which is feeding into the hype for Prism. Well, or I'm wondering if they are going to try to use that to feed into the hype for Prism and be like, hey, look at what a Wemby base card is going for $100. His silver is going for $600, $700, $800, $900,000. You better get into these Prism breaks when hobby boxes hit, and all that additional supply is going to hit the market. And I have a feeling it's going to cause, we all know how this ends. Those prices on the singles are going to come crashing back down again. And the comps that we're looking at here in, mid-January are not going to be the same ones we're looking at come mid to late February, because it's being artificially inflated because of the limited supply. So long story short, be careful out there, especially if you're trying to buy singles of this stuff and trying to thread that needle of get them off to graded and on the market before we get Prism in mass on the basketball side of things. The rest of that list, nothing too crazy. That takes us all the way to the end of March. The only really big thing on there, once again, this just cracks me up. I think this got pushed again. 2022 Flawless Basketball. That's right. You heard that correctly. 2022 Flawless Basketball releases as of right now, March 1st, 2024. Gotta love it. Got to love it. But no Optic on this list, no Select on this list. I'm sure that stuff will be coming later as we move into the spring. On the football side of things, once again, nothing super crazy. We have Absolute Football. I believe that'll be Kaboom, so people will be chasing those. And then nothing absolutely fantastic. I am personally not a big fan of any of these products, really. Phoenix, Rookies and Stars, Impeccable it's fine. Zenith, I don't know that I'm familiar with Zenith. Spectra, Obsidian. Obsidian has some cool parallels, but they don't usually hold value super well. And then Immaculate down there at the bottom. Immaculate's going to be Immaculate and Impeccable both, honestly, will kind of be interesting releases with the non-autos to factor in there. So I'll be curious to see how they end up handling that. Speaking of Prism, I was just curious and popped on over in the market movers link down below to check in on the price of hobby boxes of 23-24 Prism football. Right now, Prism Hobby regular is going for about $850-ish a box, $800 to $850. I saw them at my local show. I had the local Hartville show on Saturday. Dealers had them out for $800 a box, so you could find them for $800. Probably maybe even a little bit less if you're paying cash. I should note very quickly, my local show I got there about an hour in. It was very busy. The weather was crappy. The roads weren't bad, but it was very, very windy. It was very, very cold. So you had to really want to be there if you wanted to go. And I thought it was very, very well attended. It's the first real local show here post Christmas. So I think that kind of builds up people's, they're kind of jonesing for one, if you will. I don't think I'm going to be able to make Culture Collision later this month in Atlanta, unfortunately, due to work. So my first real big show will probably be Ships on March 2nd. That's probably the first real decent sized show I'm looking at going. I should throw in the asterisk, weather permitting, because last year was a freaking nightmare with the weather and the blizzard. Back to Prism. First off the line, hobby boxes also holding strong at about 1.5 to 1.6. 20% up, 10% up. They're basically what they were since release. They have not moved a ton one way or the other. Now, you future people that are watching this ahead of when I'm recording it, CJ Stroud wins and balls out on Saturday night. This could be a whole different story. Is hype and pump for that will continue to grow. If they get eliminated, I don't think it necessarily affects box prices in the downward motion. People will write off the excuse to injuries and all this. If he loses, like I said, they'll go that direction, and then they will be the team to watch in the offseason. Can they add a running back? Can they add another wide receiver? Can they get this weapon? Can they improve this? If they win, then the hype machine keeps going. This is a long way around to basically say if they win, box prices could potentially see a jump. Single prices could see a jump. If they lose, I don't think it affects much, especially on the sealed wax side of things. Sticking in the Panini realm, and then we're basically going to split this up, talking a lot of Panini and then talking a lot of Topps. We mentioned the Victor base going for anywhere from $70 to $100. Silvers going anywhere from $500 to $1,000. I was curious to see what Prism basketball hobby boxes were going for, and they seem to be pre-selling for just under $1,000. There's a few sales, not a ton. Wouldn't be shocked if these kind of settle in around the same price as Prism football. Something I want to keep an eye on as we get more 2023 releases with Victor stuff in it. Does it affect his first auto price? This is obviously not a Spurs jersey. It's a Metropolitans jersey. But he's not going to have any autographs in a mainline product. But does mainline product, parallels, that sort of stuff to Chase, does it affect his first auto pricing? This is kind of our first real test case for this, as this card's been on the market for a while. PSA 10s came out of the gate right at $3K. They initially dipped down. They got as low as about 1.5. Then I think the exclusive news got out. The season started. He got a little bit excitable. People got pumped up a little bit. And it jumped up to $3K, went even a little higher than that, has now pulled back down again, and is kind of sitting in this $2,000 to $3,000 range, give or take. Sales are always kind of weird on this one. They really bounce all around. But as we move throughout the year, and I did a video the other day. Victor, he's super talented. The Spurs are only playing him 25 minutes a game. They're playing Jeremy Sohan at point guard instead of Trey Jones. They clearly are in tank mode and do not want to win this year. And it's not giving Victor any favors. So his stats aren't going to be super crazy insane because the Spurs aren't really putting him in a position to put up monster numbers. Could this guy be the next greatest thing ever? Sure. I have my concerns. He is ultra talented. You cannot take that away from him. I think injuries will kind of tail the tail here. But we don't really know the full scope yet. He is not playing on a legitimate NBA basketball team at the moment. I think we have to give him hey, he's playing pretty good, all things considered, and then see what this team actually looks like once they decide to try. So I don't think the book has been written on Victor by any means, but I do kind of want to keep an eye on this auto as we move throughout the year and see how prices fluctuate as more supply of Spurs jersey items comes to market. Switch over and talk tops a little bit. We had the 2023 or 2024 rather Series 1 design drop. Generally speaking, based off comments on my videos, I talked to a lot of people at the show today. Most people, a vast majority, seem to be on board with this design. Some people are definitely like, this is dumb, I don't like it, blah, blah, blah. But for the most part, people seem to be on board with the design for Series 1 for 2024. I think it will be a little bit of a tough grade, like we discussed in the video earlier. That black top, white bottom, that black top, those corners are going to be rough coming out of those packs, especially on a paper card. Will be intriguing to see what that does to population counts. We did get Filmington shared with me a checklist. I posted it on Twitter. Jason Dominguez is in Series 1 along with Evan Carter and Ellie De La Cruz. So off the get, those will be your three big chases. Junior Caminero is not, but he has autos in it. He just does not have a base card. He has some insert autos. So Series 2 will probably have Junior in it. I have to imagine Chorio breaks camp. I don't know what's going on with Holiday yet. So a mix of those guys could be in Series 2/update. And then, depending on how things play out, where I'm going with this is, we could have a really, really nice checklist for Chrome. Now, do they get cute and try to hold someone back for next year like they did with Ellie this year? Hopefully not. That would be disappointing, but who knows? Chrome could be lining up to have an amazing checklist. Obviously, it'll depend on how these guys play. And this is also not factoring in if someone comes out of the woodwork or gets hot that we're not really thinking about right now. But you could potentially have Ellie in there. You're going to have Ellie in there. You're going to have Dominguez. You're going to have Carter. You could potentially have Junior Caminero. He should be in there. And then the question marks are going to be Churio and Holiday, depending on what happened with them. If for some reason all those guys end up in there, Chrome will be hot, especially if they run back MVP buyback. I think this design is going to look fantastic in Chrome, especially on parallels and refractors. And God knows what else Topps has in store for us. So Topps Baseball seems like it is going to be a pretty hot product. I don't know about Series 1 per se. I'm trying to formulate now a plan on what, if anything, I want to do with it. I'll probably see what box prices come in like. I would like to at least just rip like a jumbo to get a feel for the product. I don't know that I'll stash any or anything crazy like that, or maybe buy one to stash and rip at Christmas time. We'll see. But where this is all, like where my headspace is at with all this Topps talk right now and kind of looking ahead on this is thinking about Chrome. I really hope that they repeat what they did last year and release Chrome at the National. I think that was super smart last year. I would love if they did that again. A combination of that with the silver packs that you could get, the national packs. That was a really smart marketing / business decision releasing that at the National. I think it gave a ton of buzz to the product at that show, and box prices were literally jumping by the hour on the show floor. I want to circle back to something from earlier this week as well. The talk around Bowman University product, and it's going to tie in with this Topps discussion here. I think the biggest takeaway after doing that video and reading through the comments and kind of reading through some other social posts and what people were saying on other videos and just on Twitter and Instagram, etc., it really comes down to, I don't even know that people are digging the Bowman U, specifically football, because they love college football, or I think it's more about they like football. They like college football just fine. It's the bang for the buck of the rip. I kept seeing that comment over and over and over again. Hey, I'm not the biggest college football guy, but this is a really fun thing that opened. Basically echoing what I said specifically about Sapphire. I keep seeing that over and over and over again. If you give people a product in the $150 to $200 range, or even $100 to $200 range, and it is a good rip experience, people will gravitate towards that product. And I think that is ultimately what's driving this Bowman University hype train. I don't think it's so much about the chase for the individual players or the fact that it's college football versus college basketball or whatever, pros versus non-pros. I think it really comes down to, like, I'll circle back to Sapphire. I've said this 1,000 times. At $150 a box, which is what those retailed for, it was a fantastic rip experience. I think people are seeing the same thing, even buying these at an inflated price on the secondary market. They're going for like $250. But also just with the base version of this product at $150 a box. Those boxes went up and sold out in seconds, or minutes rather. I think it's just all about the value prop on the rip. And that's what people are really chasing. That's why I think, circling back to Topps Chrome, if Topps Chrome has an absolutely loaded checklist and it's priced like it was last year, even with the price increasing last year, you know, regular hobby boxes were $150 for an auto, jumbos were $350, I think, off the rip for 3 autos. That if Topps Chrome hobby boxes, normal ones, feel like good bang for the buck at around that $150 price range on release, I think a lot of people are going to open that product. I think it'll be very, very successful. Say what you will about Topps and Fanatics, but on that lower to mid-end range, right now anyways, they are putting out a better product than Panini by 1,000%. If the way that they're designing the Bowman U product is a glimpse into what we can expect for basketball and football once it fully comes to market, I am very, very intrigued. Once again, I'm sure they're going to do some stuff to make us mad, but I am very, very intrigued by the way that they're kind of formatting these products with a little bit smaller checklist. They feel tight. They feel good. It's a good, very good rip experience. Fun one from the social sphere. MJ Melendez posted this. He is looking for his WBC game used, and also a little preview here for Topps Dynasty. Game used patch card. That's the 101 from the WBC. And then we also have from a game used baseball. The cool thing is he's basically putting a bounty on his own cards. I'll personally fly you out to a game and make you a trade for the card. I have to wonder if we see more stuff like this. Now, I don't know if this is MJ legitimately, I don't want to say not legitimately wanting it. Maybe he's a super collector. I don't know. But once again, Topps and Fanatics has the buy-in from the athletes. It's going to be very, very interesting if they continue to use stuff like this to market it. This is whether this is legitimate or not, or Topps funding this or helping taking care of it, I don't know. It might not be, but it's an interesting angle. It's a cool extra little added chase. You know what I mean? That if you pulled one of his cards, whether you like the player or not, or you're a big fan of the team or not, the fact that the player would fly you out and you would get to go to a game and then maybe do a deal with the player and, you know, get a signed bat or something, or a photo op, or down in the dugout or in the locker room, whatever the case might be, or a quick meet and greet for 5 minutes. It's just a cool little added extra thing that's going to get a lot of buzz on social, if nothing else. And like I said, maybe this is from the heart. Maybe MJ just legitimately really wants this stuff. Great. Awesome. But I have to wonder if we see more and more athletes chase their own stuff, or even other players' stuff would be really fun. I know Corbin Carroll is a very big collector. I believe Bobby Witt is as well. Next up, the LeBron auto news. Fanatics, once again, on the marketing side of things, put out a little video / teaser thing of LeBron and Bronny signing their dual auto, showing them doing it and then showing off the card. I thought it was kind of cool. Just it was like a 30-second to a minute long clip. And you can already see Fanatics is going to use, though, you know, I don't know how many LeBron autos we're going to get in product. I think we really won't know that for a couple years. I think we really won't know until they get full control over the NBA license. But you could see already they are going to use LeBron and the James family as a marketing mechanism immediately. The fact that he did that video and it got shared everywhere on social, that stuff matters. And like I said, if nothing else, this will be a massive marketing win for Fanatics having LeBron. Would love to know the terms of that deal. It'll be interesting to track how many autos come out going forward. I could tell you anecdotally, because I have saved searches for LeBron autos, a lot have been coming to it. Well, I shouldn't say a lot. It feels like more are getting posted for sale over the last week and a half than have for a while, especially the lower end stuff. So I'm wondering if people are saying, you know what? Let me slide on out of here if all of a sudden a bunch of LeBron autos, and maybe a bunch is only a couple hundred a year. But like I said, on a player like this, that matters. That extra supply hitting the market when before it was fixed really will decrease the price, I think, on his lower end stuff. His entry level stuff, I think, takes a hit. What percentage? I don't really know, but I think that it does. Last thing I want to talk about, back into the charts and graphs very quickly. Ja Morant sucks, man. Got hurt. Done for the year. Shoulder injury. And his prices have immediately dropped. His PSA 10 is back down to 350. What I find intriguing here is that's as low as it got after the gun stuff. Back on June 5th, they were going for 359. Leading up to that, we see a 370. So they were in that 400 to 350 range. Fast forward to today, these were well over 400 bucks, 500 bucks. And then the injury happened. We have one sale going off at 385 post injury and another one going off at 350. The 350 was a best offer accepted. The 385 was an auction. I want to kind of follow this and see if it ends up dropping a lot lower than post gun. You know, the injury is one thing. It's a shoulder. He'll be back. Obviously not this year, but he should be fine for next year. But he essentially misses an entire season now. He's playing pretty good in those couple games that he came back and hit that game winner in his first game back. Grizzlies were playing well, and now it gets completely derailed again. And we see what happened. It dipped here, went back up again, and then spiked again on his return to play. Could that repeat? Now, you'd have to be patient. That's the trick. I mean, let's say this history repeats itself. You're buying in at 300, 350 on a Silver Prism PSA 10. That's a long hold time. You have to be very patient with that card. I mean, you're going to be waiting almost 9 months, 10 months till the season starts again. And assuming he doesn't get in any trouble or no off-season nonsense happens. But just interesting to see his price flirt with where it was at the lows post-gun. That is all I got for you boys and girls today. I pray, I hope that I am celebrating a Browns victory as you are all watching this. Wish me well, folks, one way or the other. Catch boys and girls in the next one. Go Browns. Peace.